Have you ever wondered if renting or buying a home is cheaper? It's a thought that crosses everyone's mind at some point, isn't it? The truth is, there isn't a one-size-fits-all answer to this question. It all boils down to several factors like your financial situation, lifestyle preferences, and the real estate market conditions in your desired location. Many people believe that buying a home is always a better deal, while others swear by the flexibility of renting. But let's not get swayed by these popular opinions. Instead, let's dive deep into the facts and figures to see what's actually cheaper, renting or buying. We'll consider various aspects such as initial costs, monthly expenses, and potential long-term benefits. And don't worry, we're not going to drown you in a sea of numbers. We'll keep things light, engaging, and easy to understand. So, are you ready to debunk some common misconceptions about home ownership and renting? Good, because it's time to get clear on the real costs of renting versus buying. Let's dive right in. First, let's delve into the nitty-gritty of buying a home. Purchasing a home is not just about paying the sticker price and getting the keys. No, it involves a series of costs, some upfront and others recurring, that all add up to the total expense of owning a home. Let's start with the upfront costs. The first one that probably jumps into your mind is the down payment. This is a percentage of the home's total price that you have to pay upfront. It's like the entry ticket to the homeownership club. Usually this ranges from 3 to 20% of the home's price. But wait, there's more. There are also closing costs to consider. These include fees for things like inspections, appraisals, and loan origination. Closing costs typically range from 2 to 5% of the loan amount. And let's not forget about moving expenses. Whether you're hiring professionals or doing it yourself, moving into a new home can be quite a costly endeavor. Now let's talk about the recurring costs. First and foremost, there's the mortgage payment, which is your regular payment to the bank for lending you the money to buy the house. This usually includes both the principal and interest. Then there are property taxes, which are based on the assessed value of your house and land. These taxes can vary widely depending on where you live. Next, we have home insurance, which is a must-have to protect your home and belongings from disasters like fires or burglaries. And last but certainly not least, there's the cost of maintenance. Whether it's a leaky faucet, a broken appliance, or a hole in the roof when you own a home, you're responsible for all repairs and upkeep. This can add up to a significant chunk of change over the years. Now that we've got a handle on the costs of buying, let's take a look at the costs of renting. Switching gears, let's shift our focus to the costs associated with renting. Venturing into the world of renting can seem daunting at first, but understanding the basics can help make it a smooth journey. So let's start with the upfront costs. These are the costs you'll need to cover before you even step foot in your new home. The most common upfront cost is the security deposit. This is a sum paid upfront to cover any potential damages to the property. It's typically equivalent to a month's rent, but it can vary, depending on where you live and the landlord's policies. But don't worry, if you leave the property in the same condition as when you moved in, you'll get this deposit back. Next comes the first month's rent. As the name suggests, this is simply the rent for your first month in the property, paid in advance. Some landlords may also ask for the last month's rent up front, so be prepared for that possibility. Now, on to the recurring costs. The most obvious one here is the monthly rent payment. This is a fixed amount you'll have to pay each month, typically at the beginning of the month. Then there's renter's insurance. While not always mandatory, it's definitely a good idea. Renter's insurance can cover the cost of replacing your personal belongings in case of theft, fire, or other damages. It's a small price to pay for peace of mind. Lastly, let's talk about possible maintenance fees. While the landlord is typically responsible for major repairs, you may be responsible for minor maintenance tasks like changing light bulbs or fixing a leaky faucet. Some rental agreements also include a provision for regular maintenance fees. So we've got the basics down, but how do these two options compare over time? It's time to take a long-term view of renting versus buying. When you first enter the housing market, renting often seems like the simpler, less expensive option. But as you stick around for the long haul, the scales begin to tip in favor of buying. Here's why. When you buy a home, your initial costs can be daunting. There's the down payment, closing costs, not to mention moving expenses. However, as time progresses, these costs start to shrink in the rearview mirror. Each mortgage payment you make is like depositing money into a savings account, as part of it goes towards the principal amount, gradually building equity in your home. On the other hand, rent is a recurring cost that typically increases over time. Unlike a fixed-rate mortgage where your principal and interest payments stay the same throughout the life of the loan, rent is subject to annual increases. Over the years, these incremental hikes can add up, and you could end up paying considerably more than you initially budgeted for. Moreover, when you rent, your money is going towards someone else's mortgage, not your own. You're essentially paying for your landlord's equity, not building any of your own. It's a stark contrast to buying a home where each payment nudges you closer to outright ownership. Another long-term aspect to consider is the potential for property appreciation. While it's not guaranteed, historically, home values tend to rise over time. So, as you're paying down your mortgage and building equity, your home could also be increasing in value, providing you with a double whammy of financial benefits. But, before you jump headfirst into a mortgage, it's crucial to remember that buying a home isn't just about the potential financial gains. It's about having a place to call your own, a place to make memories, a place to grow and thrive. So, while the maths might make sense, the decision to buy should also resonate with your lifestyle and future plans. But remember, it's not just about the numbers. Scene script. Let's go beyond the numbers and look at the other factors that come into play. You see, when it comes to the great debate of renting versus buying, it's not just about dollars and cents. It's also about the lifestyles we lead, the dreams we harbor, and the goals we've set for ourselves. Consider flexibility. Perhaps you're a nomad at heart, with an insatiable thirst for new experiences and locales. Or maybe your job necessitates frequent relocations. In such cases, renting might be your best bet. It allows you the freedom to pack up and move without the hassle of selling a property. On the flip side, if you crave stability and the idea of laying down roots in a community appeals to you, then buying a home might just be your ticket. After all, there's a certain comfort in knowing that your place of residence isn't subject to the whims of a landlord or the fluctuations of the rental market. Next, let's talk responsibility. Owning a home means being the master of your domain, yes, but it also means being the janitor, the repairman, and the landscaper. If the thought of home maintenance sends shivers down your spine, renting might be the way to go. On the other hand, if you relish the idea of personalizing your space and don't mind a little DIY, buying a home could be a rewarding endeavor. And finally, personal preference. This is a factor that's often overlooked but is paramount in this decision-making process. What feels right for you? What aligns with your vision of the future? Do you see yourself hosting backyard barbecues in a home of your own? Or does the thought of a luxury apartment in the heart of the city make your heart race? Ultimately, the decision to rent or buy isn't a competition with a clear winner. It's a personal choice, influenced by individual circumstances, aspirations, and lifestyle preferences. So there you have it, renting versus buying is not a one-size-fits-all answer. In conclusion, the debate between renting and buying a home is not a clear-cut decision. It's a seesaw balancing act, with the weight of financial considerations, lifestyle preferences, and long-term goals shifting the balance one way or the other. We've journeyed through the basics of buying a home, highlighting the potential for financial growth, the pride of ownership, and the responsibilities that come with it. We also wandered through the realm of renting, touching on the flexibility it offers, the freedom from maintenance, and the potential for financial freedom if managed well. We've compared these options in the long-term scope, revealing that the cheaper choice isn't always the most apparent one. It's a game of numbers and circumstances, with factors like market conditions, personal finance, and future plans playing crucial roles. Beyond the numbers, we delved into the intangible aspects that can tip the scale: the emotional value of a home, the freedom or restriction of a lifestyle, the impact on your peace of mind. Remember, the best choice for you depends on your individual circumstances and goals. So, do your research, weigh your options, and make the decision that's right for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on building wealth.